which was promised in the last video, and I'm sure you're all thrilled about one of the more administrative tasks of the Major League Baseball season. So we're going to talk, like I said, we're going to discuss salary arbitration. What is it? What players in the simulation are we going to offer? What players are we going to withdraw from and make them free agents? And things like that. So we'll start off with the basic question of what is salary arbitration. There's a lot of nitty-gritty to it. I mean, there's a Super 2 option, things like that. We're not going to get deep into that, but we will discuss, overall what it is. So it's for any Major League Baseball player who has between 3 and 6 years of Major League experience, of Major League service time. So after the season, these players in their rookie contract have very little leverage in what they're actually getting paid. So after you get 3 years, depending on the year you had, you can say, well, you can go to the team and say, I believe that I deserve $4 million for how I played last year. And the team can come back and say, well, I believe that you earned $2 million, or you should earn $2 million next year for how you played this past season. So they have a chance, they have a window of opportunity where they could work out and negotiate a deal for the upcoming year. Most of the time, that is what happens. They come to some form of agreement, and they're able to move on and play the year under that contract. However, for some players, they cannot come to an agreement on. What's going to happen is they're going to go to an arbiter. And 90% of cases now get decided before this point because it can be a very messy process. So they go in front of an arbiter, and the player says, I think I deserve to be paid this much for my work this past year. And the team says, no, you only deserve $2 million because you can't really field that well. Your BABIP was too high. Your success is not sustainable, et cetera, et cetera. So the issue with that is, the player may end up winning and get his $4 million, but he doesn't feel great after that. And then if the team wins, the team just talked down to you, for this whole arbitration hearing, and then they won, and you're only getting paid $2 million. The process leaves a bad taste in everybody's mouth. However, it is a necessary process because if this didn't exist, players would either become free agents after their third year. Teams would invest, 4 or 5 years getting them to the majors and then lose them after 2 or 3 years. Or if you're a player, the opposite of that, you're going to work for pennies on the dollar until you're, 29, 30 years old and go to free agency for the first time, making $500,000 a year, which again is not right either. So it is a necessary process. There's been, people who have talked about revamping it. I don't know those particular plans, but I think it is a fair process as is, but I think some tweaking could absolutely do it some good. So we're going to get in the salary arbitration mode here with the Pirates. So we're going to go to wrong screen there. Salary arbitration. We've not seen the award voting yet. So here's the list of players who are eligible for arbitration. You can see we have quite a number of them here. Some easy decisions, some difficult decisions. You can see that we're not going to offer Jameson Taillon any salary. In my opinion, the simulated player and the real-life player, I believe his arm is wrecked. I believe he had a promising career. You got what you got out of him, and moving forward, he's going to be a reliever or something like that. But I mean, hopefully, he proves me wrong. We're not going to offer a lot of these players. We're going to withdraw a lot of the offers here. But as far as the relief pitchers go, we're going to keep the majority of them. You can see that we can keep our good bullpen. A lot of these guys had like career years. You're looking at Richard Rodriguez. You're looking at Edgar Santana. I know their WARs aren't great, but their numbers are, which numbers mean a lot in salary arbitration too, the traditional numbers. But the person that we are going to offer just to save some money is going to be Hector Nossi. He's going to get a jump of about $300,000. 33 years old, coming off, you can see a torn labrum. This is just not something that we're going to invest in. And if you look at the underlying numbers too, it is a little unsustainable. And he had a sub 100 ERA plus for the majority of his career. So we're going to just go ahead and withdraw that. So I'm kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place here. I don't have money to offer these people extensions. If I go in and try to offer extensions or renegotiate contracts, I don't have the money to. So I have to go with arbitration here. And I'm just going to go with what the team offers. I'm not going to edit those numbers at all. So you'll see when we get to the minor league free agents too. There's nothing we can do. We just have to offer minor league contracts. If they take them, they take them. We can't offer anyone major league salaries. So we took that one back from Hector Nossi. It is very hard to justify paying two, largely replacement level catchers $7 million combined. But that's what we're going to have to do because, again, don't have our farm system. If you're a Pirates fan, understand the farm system is wrecked with talent. There's no talent whatsoever from the catching position. Can't spend any money on free agents. So we're going to have to hope that Stallings and Susac have another decent platoon year in order for us to do anything. I mean, we could potentially trade for one, but we'll have to see when we get to that point. So it pains me to do this, but we're not gonna withdraw either of those. Josh Bell, understandable. Like I said earlier in the last video, if he does not play up to par, he is getting shipped because then we can bring Alec Ballman for about $8 million less and get 1.9 WAR, I'm sure, pretty easily. So I think the difficult decisions on our end are going to be, what do we do with Eric Gonzalez, Colin Moran, Nico Goodrum, JT Riddle? In all reality, in our simulation here, Moran or Gonzalez has to go. One of them has to go. But because we have Kaibu, we have Hayes, so there's a logjam there. But I'm going to offer both because the numbers aren't that big. So they're only going to receive $100,000, $200,000 raise. So Moran, if you look at him, I'm eventually going to trade him for really whatever I can get. If you look at his stats from last year, 2 WAR, hit 322 at the AAA level, got when he was in the major leagues, hit 265.3 WAR. He's a classic example of a quad A player. And I don't know if you guys know that term out there. Most of you watching this video probably do. But for those that don't, a quad A player is someone who rakes at AAA, crushes the ball at AAA, gets promoted to the major league, and can't play that well. So you have this player who is too good for AAA, but not good enough for the major leagues. So he's going to travel back and forth between the two clubs, filling in. But he's not someone that you can invest in long term. So in the simulation, I think he's better than that in real life. But in the simulation, he's a quad A player. So we're gonna offer him the $750,000. Gonna hope he takes it. Hope we win that case, and then we'll be able to hopefully trade him for some maybe high risk, high reward prospects in the low levels in the minor leagues or something like that. Really anything. Maybe another third baseman that's a little bit earlier in their career so that we can have that pipeline going. Eric Gonzalez probably will keep him for some degree or would like to. I mean, he's a utility guy, second base, third base, shortstop. He can play left field. He has decent range all around. So even though his WAR wasn't as high as Moran's, I would rather keep Eric Gonzalez. And then we have a conundrum at shortstop. We have JT Riddle and we have Nico Goodrum. Kind of want to keep both of them. JT Riddle, though, is $6 million. Man, did he pick a time to go off. 3.2 WAR. I mean, you know the stats from last year. I'm not going to get into it now. But the issue here is $6 million. That's a lot for someone who has had no experience of playing that high level previously in his career. But we're going to offer him, and I'll tell you why. We're going to go to the front office, and we're going to look at salaries. You can see here JT Riddle, arbitration eligible, about $6 million. You can see it projects in the future, obviously. But because he's arbitration eligible, if he has a poor year next year, that number, that $6 million, is obviously going to come down. And if he does play poorly next year, always a possibility of a trade or something along those lines. So, I mean, it's kind of a 1-year contract when you're in the arbitration, when you're in arbitration. So I'm okay with 1 year, $6 million. Now, I would never in a million years lock him up to a long-term extension with that after that 1 year. Never. Nico Goodrum, talk about a super utility player. first base, second base, third base, shortstop, can play outfield in a pinch, good on the base paths. He played well for Detroit before we traded for him last year, so I'm going to go ahead and offer him. I mean, you look at his gap power; it's good. He could possibly be a quad A player as well. I think he's better than Moran. So we're going to leave him as offered as well. And Heredia, we're going to leave him offered as well. I mean, he's getting a $100,000 increase. We can stomach that. The one I'm most unsure about is Nico Goodrum. I mean, $1 million for a small market team like the Pirates, that is a large investment for someone who may or may not. I mean, you look at the log jam of shortstop. You look at Goodrum. You look at Riddle. You look at Newman. You look at Kramer. So there's a lot of people who can play, which means that these players are going to have a very short leash when next year comes around. So we're going to go ahead and offer them arbitration. Let's see if there's anyone else that we want to change. Trevor Williams, we didn't even touch on the starting pitchers. That's fine. Chris Stratton, I'm okay with, $300,000 raise for him. That's not much, but we're going to go there. When it comes to pending free agents, we're not going to offer anyone a qualifying offer. I don't think any of these players are worth it. Keone Kela, Gerard Dyson, Addison Reed, not worth it. They would take that qualifying offer in a second. No one else is going to sign them away. I mean, the purpose of qualifying offers, you want to submit it because you think you're going to get a good rate, but if you don't, a team signs them for that, and then you get a pick for it. So I don't think that's going to happen with either of those guys. I already offered. You can see here my minor league contracts. I try to avoid old players in the high minor league ball because, one, they're never going to turn into anything. They're just pretty much gap fillers for you, but they're also taking away reps from younger players too. So we're going to go ahead. We'll simulate we'll simulate up to the salary arbitration. We'll see if we win any of those Great Glove awards. So as you can see here, the A's won the World Series of the Dodgers, which I think probably everyone can finally be happy about. Billy Beane finally got his world championship, which I am excited about. And then you get to see the Dodgers lose. So all in all, a great World Series there. So it looks like we won reliever of the year down here. Yep. So Michael Flea. So good thing we offered him that money in arbitration. So looks like we're not going to pay Susac there. So we're going to go to the messages, and we're going to see who won arbitration and who didn't. So thank you guys for checking out the salary arbitration video. We will be back with a Rule 5 draft video. We'll explain a little bit about that. Then we'll hopefully get back into spring training and get ready for the next year. So look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Thanks.